Okay, I'm not usually good at recording my development, so this is going to be kind of an experiment. But we're going to make a pause manager because in my game right now, what happens is there's multiple different things that can pause the game, and they don't agree on how to unpause it. So if I press pause, the game's paused, time's not advancing. If I open the help menu, when I close the help menu, it unpauses, even though this is still paused. Just because the help menu code says pause it when you open it, unpause it when you close it. So we're going to fix that. So we're going to make a node here, and we're going to call it pause manager. We're going to try to call it pause manager. And we're going to make a script for it. And what we're going to do for the pause manager is we're going to give it an event. Public static event action. It's going to pass a string name. Request pause. I typed too bad to do videos of this, but that's fine. And what's going to happen here is these are our static event and action caller. And what's going to happen is when something wants to pause it, they're going to call this static method. And that's going to add their name to a collection that the way it's going to work is when this collection is updated, it's going to check if there's any pause requests. So basically, it's going to be a list of different things that requested, the names of things that requested the game be paused. And anytime that list is modified, well, anytime something is removed from it, anytime something is removed from it, we're going to check if it's empty. And if it's empty, we're going to unpause the game. And anytime something is added to it, we're going to check if it's empty. And if it's not, we're going to pause the game. So we're also going to have, we're just going to, faster type it. Yeah, we're just going to copy these. Because we're also going to have request unpause. They're going to do the same thing. And those are static methods. So we are also going to have, there's going to be an instance of this pause manager, right? And it's going to have a private, at this size, I thought about doing a hash map, but we might as well just do a list. We're going to do a hash map because it's simpler to implement. It will probably be actually more optimal to use a list or an array, but then we have to do a little bit more. We have to do a little bit more on our end. Not hash map, sorry, hash set of string name. Pause requesters. What are we mad about now? Oh. I just can't type good. Okay. And then we're going to say... yeah, okay. This needs to be handle request pause. There we go. That's why it didn't give me the autocomplete that I expected. So, handle request paused. We're just going to say pause requesters. Add name. And then on both of these, we will just say Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no situation where you're adding something and it's anytime you're requesting a pause, you're gonna pause it. Um, so yeah, let's just say get tree paused equals true. But on the handle request unpause, then we say if pause requesters count equals 0. And there's an annoying thing about the implementation that we already have, which is really what we want to do is we want to set this up to take a bool because the bools are the visibility. So okay. So yeah, there's a smarter way to do this, which is instead of having two signals. So I'm going to leave these here for now because maybe we'll want to use this implementation, but we're actually going to switch to a different implementation. This is missing a semicolon. And there's another important thing we need to do to prevent a reference issue / memory leak, which is we need to put our exit tree thing up here, and we need to unsubscribe from these. Because what'll happen if we don't do this is if we go to the main menu and we come back, it won't have cleared these references, but it will be to an instance that doesn't exist. This instance, it will be a different one, and it will break the game. So let's do one more of these, and we're gonna call this. We're just gonna call this request pause update, and we're gonna set a. We're gonna have it take a bool and a string name, and we're gonna have bool pause state string name, and we're gonna invoke pause state and name, and then so we're gonna have to do one more subscription here. So this is gonna be request pause update. I'm going to do that. And so what's going to happen is we're going to say, like, we're just calling the ones that we already have. If pause state is true, that means we're handling a pause request. So we're going to just call our handle request pause name, right? And then else handle request unpause name, and there's a 50% chance I got these backwards, but we should be fine. I like to keep these up where they belong. I like to keep the exit tree right under the ready because I need to do all these subs. If you do this in Godot script, you don't have this problem, sort of. You have other problems to worry about, but I don't mind the boilerplate. It makes me feel comfortable. So now the thing to do is go to all of our pausers. The find thing is driving me nuts. There we go. So this pause manager node just exists. It's hanging out as a child of the game root. Nothing else he actually needs to know that it exists really, but we need to go into all the things that pause the game, which I created a different script for that I thought would help me out, and it didn't really. Well, I mean, it did, but so the settings dialog. We have I guess it's just, okay, so handle visibility changed. we do get tree pause visible. So we're going to get rid of that. And what we're going to do is we're going to say pause manager raise request pause. No, actually we're going to say raise. What's going on here? Oh, I never. Ooh, okay. I never updated the name of that static function. Okay. Raise request pause update. Perfect. So then we're just going to pass in visible like we did before, and then we're going to pass in this dot name. Okay. So that should be fine. And we'll just test this one. See if this one works. Just these settings. So we start pause because of this thing we have here. So we are not paused. And if I click settings, we're paused. And we're unpaused. Okay, it works. If you don't believe me, we can go to our pause manager and we can actually say in handle pause request, we can say gd print. Well, we can say I wanted to print the whole hash set, but that's just going to be annoying. So when I do little GD prints like this, what I do is I put the name of the class that it's in, the name of the method that it's in, and that just means that if you have, because I don't want to use too many prints for debugging, but once you have them in a couple different files, and then all of a sudden you have all this output, and it's just a nightmare. And it's really nice to make sure you know what output you're looking at and where to go to find it to comment it out. So if I click settings, you can see right here, pause manager, handle request by settings dialog. So that's our new pause manager is working. So now we just have to go into the other things that pause the game and switch them to use the new pause manager, and we won't have our pause unpause problem anymore. I hope. So, settings dialog we did. Let's just do our find for pause. So we have this game auto pauser, which we had just ride on, like, this just goes on a node that hangs out beneath another node as a way to not have to add code to, oh, do we think it's these? Yeah. So the failure screen has a auto pauser that hangs out there. It's not a great example, but we're gonna do that one. So instead of get tree paused equals visible, we're gonna say pause manager. Pause manager. Raise request pause update, and we're gonna put visible, and we're gonna put this dot name. Oh, I guess, yeah, settings dialog. See, that's useful. Okay, let's go to our help menu container. And then, yeah, so really I wanted to find a way to make this even more straightforward. Like an extension method that would just do this name for it. Which probably I can do. But that's a thing for this dot request pause update visible. It's like not worth doing. I could write a helper method that's for a node, any node. We just Google extension method C# real quick. Oh, I just have to name it still this node. Self. And then the thing that it would do would be what's wrong with it? Oh, wrong order. Wait. Right. Pause state. Self dot name. So this exists. So now if I go to the help menu container and I say using pause manager helpers, oh yeah, good point. Okay. I am not sure how this is going to work. Just like that. I assume I need the this. Yes. Okay, that's not bad. That's maybe worth doing. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that increases readability or not. It idiot proofs the passing the name though, which is the thing that I like. Because without this, if we go back to the settings dialog, we have to know to pass the name here. So it's kind of cool to just say this dot request pause. But we should rename this to request pause state. Why didn't that work right? Normally I would use the proper refactor, but I thought that I did, so I guess I didn't, but that's fine. Okay, and so what else do we have for pausing? We've got the name cow dialog. Okay, that should take care of that. Where are we at over here? We're in name cow dialog. Here. Pause indicator. Pause manager. That's, we don't need to mess with these because those are there. That's the stream pause quit button. What the fuck? I don't know about all this. This is this is a thing that yeah, I don't think we want this. This was to address some kind of weird bug that I think is fixed. Okay, and that was where? Quit button. Quick confirm. It's going to be embarrassing if none of this works. Oh, not that embarrassing. It'll be fine. Okay, that's kind of bad. Okay, so now we are going to try this again. Okay. So the help menu container was automatically deployed at the beginning, and that is requested a pause. If I click this button, it's going to pause that. So the pause indicator is up. If we close this, we're not unpaused because we still have that. And now we are. That pauses us. That's paused. We can close the settings. We can unpause. I think it just works. I think we did it. I'm not sure that I really want there to be like all these overlapping ways to pause the game, but this is consistent with what you would expect. You would expect that as long as this is on the screen, the game is paused. Yeah, I also think that I should go into the UI thing and I should make the pause thing be the lowest thing on the screen of all the things that pause it. So let's do that. So, how do we think this works? Pause indicator. Let's put that up here. Then I'll do it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so just to recap really quick, since it works now, what we did is we just we made this pause manager class, and we made it say, okay, anytime you update me, keep a list of things that want the game to be paused, and anytime you change that list, check if the list is empty. If the list is empty, unpause the game. If the list has anything in it, keep the game paused. And it's pretty straightforward. There's a couple different ways you can implement it. You don't need to use a hash set. You could just use a list. But what we don't want, because we're having this, the important thing here is that things that ask for it to be paused pass their name. And you don't want... Ooh. Yeah, we might still have bugs in this. The situation that you don't want is the same thing having multiple entries. So if you weren't using a hash set, if you were using a list, and the same object tried to pause the game more than once, then when it tried to unpause it, it could leave its duplicate in there. And you don't want that, because then it's not unpaused. And so we might run into a problem. No, because these are static methods, but this hash set is instanced. So anytime this node gets reset, yeah, what I'm worried about is if there's a situation where something... Like, you don't want a situation where something requests a pause to the game, and then the game's paused, so it shouldn't happen, but you don't want, like, the level to change, and then the thing goes away without removing its pause thing. So, like, a thing to do, we could put in the exit tree thing of things that request pauses to say request to unpause, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So there could be some bugs here, but mostly I think I'm just being paranoid about this. And then we had, so there's an iteration here, right? Which is, first I had the explicit request pause and request unpause. These aren't the end of the world. They could be useful to do, especially if you have, an object that's not tied to, if you don't want to get confused on the calling end true and false, request pause and request unpause is fine. That's very clear. But, and then we had this request, which you passed both things in, and then it just decided which one of those to do. And then ultimately, we just made this static helper, so that you would just call it on whatever the thing was, and that would take care of the name thing. And I like that one a lot. I think that is pretty... That takes the most room for mistakes, you know, because like you could pass any string name object there. It wouldn't have to be the thing that was calling. So if you like copied and pasted code from one object to another, somehow, yeah, I don't know. I just like it. I like extension methods. I think they're useful. Sorry, this is a C# video and not a GE script video. You can do all of this. You could do this exact thing in GG script. But I couldn't tell you how to do it because what you would need is... these would just be signals, right? God damn it. These would be signals. And, yeah, that's how that would work. Okay, well, I don't really think I'm going to edit this. I need to edit this video if anyone's going to watch it. So, good luck. Have a good night.